Hey guys, Tash from Tupperware here, and we're going to be taking a look at our SuperSonic Choppers. Now, for those of you that are quite familiar with this product, you may notice that we actually have a different size sitting right in the middle here. That is our SuperSonic Tall, but we will get to that one very, very shortly. So let's jump in and start with our larger sized chopper. I'm just going to angle the camera down so you guys can see it properly. This is our SuperSonic Large. Now it has had a bit of a upgrade. Some of you may have the older version of this. I love the new version of it. I think it's got some really great improved features. So let's open it up and take a look. All right, so take our two accessories out. We're going to start with the base. Now, the base here is a 1.25 litre capacity, and underneath you'll notice that there is a silicone ring. That is to make it a little bit non-slip on the bottom there. Hot tip though, this will actually arrive inside the product. So you just need to be a little bit aware when it comes to take it out straight away, even though you're not using it, pop it on and then put it away. I have had some instances where people haven't realized that and have actually chopped it up a little bit. And I in fact did that myself with the very first one that I ever owned. So don't be like me, make sure that you take that out first. Now our measurements are on the side here. They are etched on or embossed on, if you like. We have our mils and our litres over this side. And then on this side, we've got cups and ounces for those of you that use a different measuring system. And then on the side here, we have our halfway mark. Now, just in terms of sizing, I'm going to bring the other two over here as well because of course they are different sizes. Now our little compact chopper is the baby of the bunch. Underneath we still have our silicone here, and this is a 300 ml capacity. So this one is for chopping little bits of garlic, herbs, nuts, just very small amounts of things. Our next size up, which is the medium sized one here. Now this is actually the older version. I don't have the SuperSonic version yet, but it looks exactly the same. It just has a different cover, but we'll be talking about that in a moment. This again has our silicone underneath here, and that is a 730 ml capacity. So it's kind of that in-between size when it comes to these two here. And it does come with the extra accessory of the little whipper as well. We'll get to that one shortly. Now, this one here is perfect for things like chopping up large amounts of veggies. So if I'm doing a soup, I might do my zucchini, my onion, does carrots and things like that really well. And for that, you would use your blade. Now, this is a triple blade attachment, super duper sharp. It does come with a cover on it. You can see here on the axle, we do have three really, really sharp blades. Now, that actually sits on the bottom part here. It sits nice and stable on there so that it doesn't move around so much. And then our cover goes on top of it. Now, with our smaller ones, and I'm gonna open this one up because this is slightly different to the new one. This one no longer comes apart in two pieces. It is one full size, just like this one. And the blade on the smaller two sizes have been improved. So the blade here, okay, so you can see the bottom one is nice and flat and quite low. That means that it's not going to miss any parts down the bottom. And then what we've done with the top two blades is they are actually angled now to actually catch things a lot better, and it does chop faster as well. So if you're used to doing, say, 6 or 7 pulls of your onion in your small one, you're only going to need to do about 4 or 5 to get the same result. So it is definitely a lot faster. This one, however, is the same. And of course, our medium size and our large do come with the paddle on them as well. And that's what I really love about this size, is it does have the paddle, which means that you can do cake batters in here, you can do mayonnaises in here, cocktails in here, all those good things with our paddle whip. Now, how these work is, so I'll pop our blade back in for a second. The top of the axle has a little bit of a cog that connects in with this one. So we want to pop this together just like this. We're going to pop it on, turn it around, our hand goes on top and we pull that. Now, every pull of that blade is the equivalent of 288 knife chops, if you can believe that. So yes, it will chop up your onions very fast, and I can quite easily get about 4, 5, maybe even 6 onions in there and chop them very, very quickly. It's actually a lot easier than getting out a big blender, which I then have to pull apart and clean, because this whole thing, of course, will go straight into your dishwasher with the exception of the blade and the part that houses the cord. So let's have a look at the part that houses the cord. Now, as I mentioned, there has been a upgrade. You no longer need to pop a spoon in there to pull it apart to take care of it. We do actually have a button there now. So what we want to do is push down the button and twist it. This is the part with your cord in it. So this is the part we want to keep nice and dry. So before you go to clean it, pull it apart, put this to the side. You may need to give it a wipe down, you may not, and then pop it off to the side. This part here can then go straight into your dishwasher, no problem. As I mentioned, everything but the blade and the cord goes into your dishwasher. Now, why we want to take really good care of that cord is because that cord, well, it is reinforced, so yes, it's strong, but it's also coated in a very fine wax, which is why it's so nice and easy and smooth to pull, okay? Now, if you get hot water on that, what will happen is that wax will actually melt, and then over time, it can become a little bit harder to pull. So just make sure that you're not putting that part into the dishwasher. If you happen to get a little bit of cold water in there, that's okay. What we want to do is make sure we dry it out by pulling it all the way out, poking it back in and actually letting that dry so it doesn't go manky and gross, and then putting it back together like that, okay? And that then just clicks straight in here. Now, you may have noticed we have a little silicone stopper on the side of the large one. Now, this is the only one that has this feature. That is for our funnel. So our funnel goes on here. Now, to do that, we might actually want to twist that around to the side so we have access to the cord. Pop that in there, and if we're making, let's say, for example, mayonnaise, and you want to pop your oil in here, put it into the closed position, put your oil in, you've already got your egg yolks and your lemon juice in there, you're flipping away, and you'd be using this one, not your blade, and then it's time to emulsify the oil, push it over here, and you'll very slowly drizzle straight into your mayonnaise. Cocktails, it's very good for as well. And what I like about this is it actually has measurements embossed on the inside as well, so that you don't need to go out and get your measuring cups out, which I find really, really handy. So we now have the entire family available, which makes me very happy. I have to say, out of all of my choppers, this is probably the one I use the most. We're a family of 3, so I often don't cook, large quantities of things. So I will usually pull this one out to chop up my couple of onions and my garlic and whatnot. It's just a really good size. Also a really good size for a cocktail, because once you've made that cocktail, you can actually take your cover off. And now I've just put it on too tight. Take your cover off, pop a straw in it, or drink straight out of it for your cocktail as well. So that is our 3 Supersonics from our Supersonic family. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all 3 of these. And you know what? Many of you have probably already got the big and the small. You may only need the medium-sized one here. So jump over to our website and take a look at these products. And of course, once again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with your consultant. Thanks, guys.